Hi guys, before I give my speech, I would usually show a video on sleeping, but since this video doesn't really lend itself to that, I'm just going to start right with my speech. How many of you have felt like you don't get enough sleep? Well, according to ABC News, about 68% of college students have said that worries about school and life keep them awake at night and prevent them from getting the 8 hours of sleep that they really need. I myself am a college student, and let's be honest, when exam time rolls around, I can admit that I lose some sleep and may contribute myself to that statistic. Sleep deprivation is very hazardous to our health, and sometimes we don't realize how it will negatively affect us. I'll first begin by defining what sleep deprivation actually is, the symptoms of sleep deprivation, the effects of sleep deprivation on your health, and ways to increase the amount of sleep you're getting in order for you to improve your overall performance. To quote the article, "What are sleep deprivation and deficiency?" found on the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute website, sleep deprivation can be defined as a condition that occurs when you don't get enough sleep. This can seem like a pretty simple concept, but can be serious when not recognized. You may ask yourself why missing a couple hours of each night is so serious, which leads me to my next point on how to recognize if you are determining sleep deprivation. There are various things that one can observe in determining sleep deprivation. Here are a few pertaining specifically to college students. Your vision may be directly affected by not getting enough sleep. You may experience blurred vision and have a hard time focusing on an image in your textbook or PowerPoint slides in lecture. This is due to the lack of regeneration in your body from not getting enough rest. Not getting enough rest can also lead to an absence of concentration. Let's say you were studying in the library until 2 a.m. and you had an 8 a.m. class later that morning. You may experience a difficulty in focusing on your schoolwork and also feel disconnected from the class curriculum. Those late hours that you thought were beneficial actually worked against you, preventing you from getting sleep. A more serious aspect of life that sleep deprivation has influence over is our motor skills. According to the article, 10 Signs You May Be Sleep Deprived from the website How Stuff Works, directly states that going without a complete night's rest makes you function like you're intoxicated, meaning that your speech may be slurred and that you might also be clumsy like someone who has been drinking. If you don't recognize these minor symptoms, they can lead to more serious health consequences. Directly from Time magazine, researchers at the University of Chicago have shown that too little sleep changes the body's secretion of some hormones. The changes mentioned in that last quote include encouraging more of an appetite while lowering the feeling of feeling full after eating, while adjusting how a person's body reacts to sugar intake. It is these changes that can not only foster weight gain, but raise one's chances of developing diabetes. The hormone that regulates those changes is known as insulin, which is also used by our fat cells in our body. This explained in more detail is found in a study in the article Too Little Sleep Play Havoc with Fat Cells, written by Nancy Helmich in the magazine USA Today. Within the study performed by Matthew Brady, participants were given a specific amount of time in which they were allowed to sleep. Looking at the experiment, we see that for exactly 4 nights, the participants were allowed to spend 8.5 hours in bed and typically slept for 7.87 hours on average each night. On the 4th night, the experimenters took fat from their stomach and observed their overall reaction to insulin. The participants were then only allowed 4.5 hours in bed and slept for about the exact time they were allotted. By the 4th day, the participants were about 14 hours behind in their sleep. The experimenters took another sample and measured their reaction once again to insulin. By the end of the experiment, it was discovered that sleep deprivation definitely decreased the fat cell's ability to respond to insulin properly, which can lead to improper regulation of the changes I mentioned earlier, with weight gain, not feeling full, and not responding well to sugar intake. This can lead to obesity and possibly type 2 diabetes. Sleep deprivation can lead to some pretty serious problems like the ones I had mentioned earlier. One simple way is just by getting more sleep, even if it's just an hour. This, however, is easier said than done. The Mayo Health Clinic provides some tips as how we can get more effective sleep and feel better throughout the day. One simple way is just by not taking naps, since this can conflict with your actual nighttime sleeping and eventually lead to sleep deprivation. If you're going to take a nap, make sure to limit it to only about 10 to 30 minutes so that it doesn't disturb with your normal nighttime rest. Another tip is to manage your stress so that you can go to bed worry-free. In order to achieve this, the Mayo Health Clinic suggests writing down whatever concerns you so that you aren't thinking about it and being kept awake at night. The last tip is to get some physical activity in your day, but preferably not close to your bedtime, otherwise you'll be kept awake with having too much energy. If you get physical activity during the day, you're more likely to get a deeper sleep rather than a lighter sleep, which is what our body needs in order to function at its very best. As you can see, sleep deprivation is more detrimental than what you might think. By understanding what it actually is, the symptoms, and what they possibly could lead to, leads us to avoid sleep deprivation and perform at our very best. So next time you think you're going to be at the library until 2 a.m. studying for that exam, maybe close your books a little earlier and get some beauty rest.